Good morning, CrossFit Manitowoc. Coach Matt, Friday, the 27th of March. This is your warm-up workout and cool-down brief. And number one, I want to say I've been dropping into all of the different satellites. We've been setting these things up specifically for you guys to have like a gym away from gym to get your workouts in. There's going to be several that have open gym times. You can go there, and there's probably not going to be anybody else there. They've been very small groups. We're keeping to our social distancing rules. We're keeping to our cleanliness rules. And we're basically just doing what they're telling us to do, which is like, go get exercise, go be outside, but don't be in large groups. So for anyone who is really worried about either the cleanliness or the sort of the staying in line with the governmental orders, we are doing our very, very best to not sacrifice the buffer of health and fitness that we have gained and that we can continue to experience while at the same time staying in line with what will be the safest for the greatest majority of people. So for today, we're working into what we call a personal care segment, and this is more than a tune-up workout. It is a workout where we want the movement to be restorative, and that means that we have to go slow and we have to go perfect. We need to take resistance away from any movement that feels like it is too hard on the joints or the muscles, and we are trying to do stuff in this segment that feels really, really good. And I want you guys to feel that at the end of it, and we're gonna finish the cool down with some breath work. So starting in the warm up, I want you to just do 2 minutes of warm up pace cardio, like, oh, but I don't have a rower, I don't have a elliptical or a treadmill or a bike. Jog, right? If you can't jog, do burpees, do jumping jacks, do some mountain climbers, do some air squats. Keep your body in light motion, but be on a clock, right? Really stick to that 2 minutes. Make sure your heart rate's up and you're sweaty when you're done with that. When you finish that, we're gonna go into the scorpion stretch, and I'll start demoing this stuff on the floor here. Scorpion stretch. I'm starting face down, arms spread, and I'm twisting to reach my heel towards my hand on either side, right? Knock that over, aren't I? Yep. The next one is standing leg swing. So as I'm standing here, I can either brace against something while I'm swinging my leg. Try to get nice and loose with this. Don't stop and start like a robot. I want you to be a human. Be loose and smooth right there. All right, next one is a 15-second duck walk. So in this one, if you need, again, to brace on something, you can brace on something. But I want you in that low, low, low position, picking your feet up for 15 seconds. If you can do it without holding on to something, that's great. Just watch for 15 seconds, right? And the last one is 15 seconds of a child pose with swivels. So from the child pose right here, I want you to just try to reach your armpit for the ground and then swivel to the other side. Reach your armpit for the ground. Just rocking side to side like that for 15 seconds. Get through that 2 times, and then we're gonna go into the personal care segment. So PCS, the first thing is 3 minutes of cardio. So you can either do the same thing you did in the warm-up, or you can do something different, but I want it to be like a nice moderate pace. Make sure you're sweating, but that it is not so aggressive that you couldn't hold on a conversation while you are doing it. The next one is slow, perfect push-ups. I want the speed to be about like this. I'm not counting, but I'm being very, very intentional about all of my joint angles, about my body position, about achieving the end of that range of motion. If I see if you're making this face like this, like, that's too hard, right? This needs to be something where you can maintain a relaxed face, you're in control of your body position, and you're going slow enough that the brain isn't getting overloaded with the amount of signals that are coming in, okay? If you need to scale this, raise your hands above your feet, right? Either a bench, a chair, a table, something like a set of stairs is fine. If you have the ability to hang a band from overhead from something, that's also fine. I would prefer not doing knee push-ups today, just because all that really does is get you good at doing knee push-ups. It doesn't get you good at doing full body plank style push-ups. Next one is perfect rows. And we're gonna move over to some equipment. So next we ask the question of like, what if I don't have a barbell, right? And I can't do these nice, slow, perfect rows with the barbell. All right, I say like, do you have an item that has handles on it? Yes, great. Can you pull it from the ground to your chest? Great. Good. Okay, what if I only have one object, right? Then I'm gonna brace my hand, and I'm doing the rows with a single object. I'm gonna get the same amount, 10 on each arm. What if it's a kettlebell? That's fine. What if it's a ball? That's fine, right? What matters here is my back position, right? So I'm maintaining good posture. My elbows begin straight, and I'm pulling until the object touches my chest or until I get my arms as close to my body as I can. Okay, that's the row. The next one is a barbell, kettlebell, dumbbell, good morning. So on the good morning, I'd like to have the object behind my neck, knees slightly bent, and I'm just hinging slowly at the waist until I feel a good stretch in my hamstrings, and then I'm squeezing and standing tall. Notice that my knees don't bend very much. I'm not in like a partial bent over squat, right? I want my hips up nice and high, lots of tension on the hamstrings when I do that, okay? 10 reps of that. If you're doing it with an object like a dumbbell, a ball, or a kettlebell, you can hold it to your chest, but make sure that it's up high so you get a good stretch in the hamstrings when you hold it. So don't hold it down low, hold it up high, all right? The next one, reverse lunge to press. Again, this can be done with a single object, a barbell, sandbag, whatever you want to use, but what we're gonna do is, if I've got the object in my left hand, I'm stepping back with my left foot, and I'm pressing at the same time as I'm going down to that lunge, and then standing tall before I bring the object down. So notice I hold my lockout position while I'm standing back up, and then reset to my shoulder. So don't bring it down while you're standing up, all right? Overhead scap press. Now, again, if you're doing it with one object, then now you only have to do 4. If you're doing it with if you're doing it with one hand at a time, then I want to see that overhead scap press 4 times, trying really hard not to bend the elbow while I do that, okay? And then the last one is band or ring rows. If you have rings, you can do ring rows. If you don't have rings, but you got a band, we're just doing a band row. I'd like to see tension in the band as you start. Pull it to your chest, right? So make sure this limp band while I'm pulling, I don't get any tension until I get almost done with the movement. You want to have tension throughout the entire range of motion, like that, okay? All right, when you're finished, we're gonna do twisted cross, which is a chest stretch on the ground, where I'm reaching one arm out to the side, twisting into the ground. You should feel that in the chest and the bicep. Standing toe touch or reach. So I'm just reaching for my toes for 90 seconds. And then very important, I want everyone to finish with 5 slow nasal diaphragmatic breaths. So everything's done. I'm sitting there quietly and silently, not thinking about anything, just trying to think about my breath. I'm breathing in for 8 seconds. And out for 10 seconds. I don't have time for that, right? No, you do have time for that. Today, you have time for that. Make time for 5 long, slow breaths, not interrupted by any dinging phones, not interrupted by a cat jumping in your lap, not interrupted by thoughts about work, thoughts about health, thoughts about anything. Just be completely present in that moment. 5 slow breaths. That's your final challenge for today. Everyone have a fantastic day. Thank you for joining me on this journey.